What's going on, guys? So in today's video, it's going to be the start of a first mini-series of what I'm going to be calling the Creator's Dictionary. Basically, what the Creator's Dictionary is a collection of words or terms that I think every creator should know in a fun and simple way. So in this video, what we're going to be covering is the most foundational, or I think the most important words that every creator should know, and those are exposure, composition and framing, and then finally automatic or manual modes. So here we go. Alright, so exposure. Exposure is basically the amount of light that is being let into your camera. You can use multiple different factors in order to increase that light or decrease that light, such as shutter speed, aperture, and ISO, which will go more in depth in another video. And you can also use ND filters, which I'm using right now. So just to show you, this is letting more light in, so that's more exposed, and then taking out light, and that's underexposed. So let's move on to composition and framing. So composition and framing. Composition is essentially everything that goes into making your piece of work. So this could be the way that you place your subject from another subject, or the background, or from the camera, the way that you use your focal length and depth of field in order to create certain emotions or feelings and sensations. You also can think about spatial organization, positive negative space, the way that you represent certain ideas or colors, and then framing is the way that you frame your subject. For example, is it off center, is it to the left, is it to the right, is it behind? So that's lots of different things that you have to consider in composition and framing, and it's definitely something that gets overlooked in a lot of beginner creators. So now on to manual and automatic modes. So for automatic or manual modes, with automatic modes, it's typically the P that you see on your camera, and the exposure will be calculated. Everything's going to adjust depending on the scene. So your shutter speed, aperture, and everything else is going to adjust to that scene to make sure the exposure is at 0. And you'll see that on your exposure value on your camera that has the big EF, and that should be 0. And you can go into your settings and figure out where that's at. And for manual modes, there's lots of different ones. There's like sports mode, there's aperture priority, there's shutter speed, there's depth of field, and all of those allow you to adjust those values. So aperture priority, you'll be able to adjust the aperture value, but everything else is going to adjust so that way it gets that exposure value to 0 depending on the aperture that you want. So, but what you really want to shoot in is, if you want to take your photography level or creating level to the next level, is to shoot in full manual mode. So make sure you're shooting in RAW, so that way you can save all the detail. Make sure you're adjusting the shutter speed, aperture, and the ISO levels. So there you have it. That's essentially the three foundational words that I think you should know. And we're going to get more into detail with the other words, as I mentioned earlier. So if you want to see more of stuff like this, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button, comment what else you want to see, and follow me on Instagram at felipe over at M. It should be somewhere over here if you want to see some behind the scenes and keep up with what I'm doing. So, alright, see you in the next one. Peace.